Here are today's top stories. President Duterte makes a historic visit to Jordan to boost bilateral relations with the Arab state. The National Food Authority assures the public that it will continue selling affordable rice. The province of Palawan reports a 239% increase in dengue cases this year. And the Department of Education vows to look into allegations of cheating in the Palarong Pambansa Special Games. Good day, I'm Pia Rosas Morato. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. President Rodrigo Duterte is in Jordan for a 3-day official visit to boost bilateral relations with the Hashemite Kingdom. Among the highlights of this historic event is the signing of several business and other agreements.
After his visit to Israel, President Rodrigo Duterte goes to Jordan for a 3-day official visit. He is the first sitting Philippine president to visit the Hashemite Kingdom under the invitation of King Abdullah II. The highlight of the president's visit is the signing of several trade, labor, foreign affairs, and defense agreements amounting to about $64 million, along with 8 letters of intent from Jordanian businessmen. Meanwhile, the Philippines will receive 2 second-hand Cobra helicopters, which will be delivered in July next year after the training of Filipino pilots. For his part, President Duterte promised ease of doing business for Jordanian businessmen in all of their transactions should they invest in the Philippines. Duterte acknowledged that although the Philippines is not completely trouble-free, he would consider the country as peaceful in which businessmen can thrive. He said investments would help finance the country's huge population and their needs, particularly on education and health care. The president is expected to return to the Philippines on Saturday. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Abs Abando.
The Department of Foreign Affairs reports that no Filipino is among the 23 reported wounded in Najran, Saudi Arabia, following a foiled missile attack Wednesday night. Saudi Air Defense Forces intercepted and destroyed a ballistic missile launched by Yemen, but the resulting shrapnel left dozens wounded. While there were Filipino nurses working at 2 hospitals in Najran near the area the missile debris fell into, the DFA reported that all were accounted for and were safe. Consul General Edgar Badajos of the Philippine Consulate General in Jeddah also said the 7,850 Filipinos in Najran are safe. He reminded Filipinos in Bahrain and the 30,000 others in the cities of Jisan and Chamis Mushait to always be vigilant as southern Saudi Arabia is frequently being targeted by ballistic missiles. Malacanang denies that Senator Antonio Trillanes is a victim of political oppression in light of the voiding of his amnesty. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says Trillanes is even proof that democracy is working in the Philippines because of his relentless attacks against the president and his family. Roque said even government institutions are functioning as proven by allowing Trillanes to file a petition against Proclamation 572, which declared voided the senator's amnesty granted by former President Noynoy Aquino. Aside from failure to comply with the requirements of the amnesty proclamation, Roque said Trillanes has violated the terms and conditions of the amnesty. He said the government found no application in official file as there is no admission to the crimes he committed. Trillanes also showed no repentance in violating laws by calling on the military not to support the elected president. Roque said the government is after accountability when Duterte voided Trillanes' amnesty. The Philippine Information Agency, or PIA, is urging the public to be responsible in the use of social media. In a lecture at the National Literacy Conference and Awards, PIA Director General Harold Clavita tells social media users to first verify information before sharing it on social media to avoid spreading false information. Clavita said providing the right information will combat fake news circulating in any social media platform. He said among the ways users can spot fake news is by considering the source, reading beyond content, making a quick search on the author, checking personal biases, verifying supporting sources, and consulting an expert. For Clavite, verifying information before sharing it is an exercise of responsibility. Still to come, the National Food Authority assures the public that it will continue selling cheap rice. The province of Palawan has posted a 239% increase in dengue cases this year. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
We have just landed at the Ben Gurion International Airport. Welcome.
I would like to thank Israel for inviting me to visit the Holy Land. One of the best places that here, and I don't mind, isa sa pinakamagandang lugar na pwede mo talagang mapuntahan, and you are treated as a human being.
We remember the exceptional role of the Philippines that received Jewish refugees during the Holocaust. We remember that the Philippines was the only Asian country that voted for the establishment of the State of Israel in the UN resolution in 1947.
Iba na talaga ang Israel because it knows how to define a human being.
The National Food Authority assures the public that it will continue to distribute affordable rice to ensure that consumers will have alternative sources of low-priced rice. NFA rice is priced from 27 to 32 pesos per kilogram. Currently, NFA distributes rice through over 15,000 inside and outside market accredited retailers and outlets. The NFA Council approved an additional importation of 250,000 metric tons of rice to beef up the current NFA stocks. The additional importation can increase NFA's active participation in the market by as much as 20%. The Council earlier approved the immediate importation of 133,500 metric tons of rice by the private sector for distribution in Zamboanga, Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi to mitigate the high prices of commercial rice in these areas. The panel reviewing the Constitution says the Philippines can afford a shift to a federal government since it is similar to a long-term investment. Janice Cave tells us more.
The Philippine government can afford to shoulder the financial burden that accompanies the proposed shift to a federal government. Professor Julio T. Hanky, a member of the consultative committee tasked to review the 1987 Constitution, described federalism as an investment for the future. T. Hanky explained that every investment has a cost, and in the case of the proposed shift, it will run into billions. He, however, said the government's unutilized funds, which usually return to the National Treasury, will be useful in this case. Tihanki said what the government cannot afford is the cost of frustratingly slow social and economic development in the regions. He also said federalism will not be a waste of money since it fixes inefficiencies of a system long riddled by corruption and bureaucracy. Tihanki denied allegations that the transition to a federal form of government will require more workers. Rather, he says the national bureaucracy will reduce its intake while federated regions are developed. T. Hanky said CONCOM members welcome economic managers as well as elected officials to help them improve the draft. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Several economists are projecting another hike in the key rates of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas this September after inflation surged this August to 6.4%. ING Bank Manila's senior economist Joey Cuyekeng says an aggressive monetary policy action is again needed even as the central bank has raised key rates by a total of 100 basis points to date. Cuyekeng forecasts a sustained elevated inflation rate with next month's inflation rate likely to remain above 6% and full-year average inflation at 5.1%. These figures are higher than the 2 to 4 inflation percent target set by the government until 2020. BSP Governor Nestor Espinilla meanwhile said that since inflation remains driven by supply-side factors, there is a need for more decisive non-monetary measures to restore inflation back to the target range. The province of Palawan has posted an increase of 239% in dengue cases this year. The rate represents 1,228 cases from 22 municipalities in the province from January to August, 4 of which resulted in deaths. Provincial Health Office Disease Officer Lorna Loor says this is higher compared to the 362 cases recorded in the same period. Only the island municipality of Cagancillo did not post any dengue case. Loor said at least 10 new dengue cases are added in the record each week. She noted that the increase was due to the rainy season. City Health Office Coordinator Kent Ventura meanwhile said the office has already stepped up its information drive against dengue and has been conducting misting operations to eliminate dengue-carrying mosquitoes. The government will implement more stringent conservation measures to ensure the proper management of the country's dwindling tuna resources. The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or BFAR, formally launched and endorsed a new National Tuna Management Plan to Agriculture Secretary Emmanuel Piñol. Undersecretary Eduardo Gongona says the NTMP seeks to address various issues and challenges affecting the country's tuna industry and the entire supply chain. In particular, Gongona cited the threats of overfishing and resource abuse, which have been blamed for the declining tuna catches in the past decade. Gongona says the NTMP also provides for the strengthening of governance and management of tuna fisheries. He said the plan also highlights the need to improve the socioeconomic condition of fisherfolk through equitable access to resources. BFAR formulated the management plan in collaboration with tuna stakeholders. Up next, the Department of Education vows to look into allegations of cheating in the Palarong Pambansa Special Games. The Antique local government eyes a restoration of its historic Balay na Bato as a tourist attraction. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Mr. Prime Minister, I can only thank you so much, especially the critical help that you have extended my country in time when we needed it most.
Ay, masaya kami. Masaya talaga ako na nakarating dito si Presidente Duterte. Tsaka yan talaga ang panalangin ko noon nung ako'y dumating sa Holy Land na sana may isang Pangulo sa Pilipinas na mamumuno para maging maayos naman ang Pilipinas at maging maalis ang mga corruption sa droga. Nung pagpasok ko kasi dito sa Holy Land, yun talagang unang-una kong panalangin na may darating na presidente.
I would like to remind you that I won because of the vote of the Filipino.
Karangalan naming mga OFW, sa dami-dami ng mga lugar dito sa buong mundo, isa din ng Israel na nabisita niya.
Ito lang ang bisita ko na maybe I will do it again. I really do not know. But this is the first time na paluha ako na nandito ako sa aking mga kababayang Pilipino. Maybe because nandito rin ako sa Holy Land.
Ay naku, napakasaya talagang gusto mong maiyak, gusto mong tumalon, kahit masakit na yung lalamunan mo, napapagaw ka sa kakasigaw.
Tatay Digong, ikaw ang pinaka-tatay na best, the best in the world, number 1. Kaya mahal na mahal ka namin.
Napaiyak ako kanina. It's not because of one person. Makita ko kayo and I need to protect everybody.
Siya lang yung presidenteng meron malasakit sa lahat ng mga Pilipino. Lalo na dito sa ibang bansa, sa mga OFW. Nandun yung kanyang malasakit sa amin.
It behoves upon me to see to it na yung mga kababayan kong Pilipino are in the best of health and a state of living na maganda. Never again will the world learn the lessons of this horrific and benighted period of human history. May the hearts of peoples around the world remain ever open.
Mabuhay po kayo. Sana bigyan po kayo ng Panginoon Diyos ng mahabang buhay, lakas at ilayo sa mga masasama. Ingatan niyo yung kalusugan niyo po para sa mga Pilipino. Dahil kayo lang po yung nagmamalasakit sa amin, lalo na sa mga mahihirap.
Sana po ipagpatuloy ninyo at huwag kayong umalis. Lumaban po kayo, go, go lang po. Andito po kami suporta po kami sa inyo.
Yun lang ang mensahe ko. Basta mahal ko kayo at magpakamatay ako.
Mga babayan, ang mahal natin at ang nagmamahal sa atin, Pangulo ng Republika ng Pilipinas, Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Pero paluha lang ako, tingin ako siya na yun. Happy kayo. And it gives me one of the greatest pleasure. It's not really that I have done something to make my Filipino brothers and sisters happy.
The Department of Education has vowed to shed light on the alleged cheating in the 2015 Palarong Pambansa. This as two athletes who joined the special games category for persons with disability or differently abled children reportedly turned out to be normal kids. Undersecretary Tonisito Malin noted that there had been issues of cheating in the past with regard to age of the competing athletes, but they never thought it would happen in the special games. The official meanwhile said safeguards have been set up to prevent cheating. A national screening and accreditation committee will do the checking of the eligibility of the athletes competing in DepEd facilitated sports competitions. Athletes are required to submit an original copy of the birth certificate issued by the Philippine Statistics Authority to determine their age. Participants in the Palarong Pambansa should not be more than 18 years old. The Davao City government is set to issue new ID cards to stall owners of the Rojas Night Market. The new IDs will be an added security measure for the night market's vendors and guests. Each ID will contain a quick response or QR code system to monitor stall owners and verify the ownership of their respective stalls. The IDs will also have the occupancy permit of the vendors. Last week, the Davao City Police implemented a no ID, no entry policy for those who want to visit the night market. The issuance of new IDs is also timely given the explosion that hit Sultan Kudarat several days ago. The local government nevertheless assures that tourists will feel safe visiting the Rojas Night Market. Two-time NBA MVP Stephen Curry is back in Manila for the first leg of his three-city Asian tour. Curry is visiting Manila to promote his newest basketball shoe brand. He first visited the Philippines in September 2015 when his career was peaking. The three-time champion says he is looking forward to the same energetic vibe he experienced before. Curry met with journalists Friday morning at Bonifacio Global City in Taguig and participated in a 3x3 championship game at the Mall of Asia Arena later in the day. His next stops will be at Wuhan in China and Tokyo, Japan. Team Lakay's Honorio Banario is not keen on facing fellow fighter Edward Folayang for the One Championship lightweight title. The former one featherweight champion has won his last 5 fights as a lightweight and is now in a good position to go after Martin Nguyen's 170-pound belt. However, Folayang is also in a good position to reclaim the lightweight title he lost to Nguyen last November in Pasay. Banario insisted that the showdown against Folayang will never happen at all as he considers the veteran fighter as family. He even added that not even one's demands can force him to fight Folayang. He then took the time to thank his fellow MMA veteran who helped shape his career right now. Banario guns for his 6th straight win against Singapore's Amir Khan in the co-main event of One Beyond the Horizons on Saturday night in Shanghai. The provincial government of Antique is working on the restoration of the historic Balay na Bato, which will be transformed into a tourist attraction. More on this from Maricol Zapata.
Another tourism attraction in Antique Province is underway. This is a planned restoration of the historic Balay na Bato along Gobierno Street in San Jose de Buenavista. Antique Governor Rodora Cadiao said she was elated that the deed of usufruct was finally signed between the provincial government and the Gelia Azurin family, as this would pave the way for the restoration of the old stone house. The Balay na Bato's restoration will start before December. The 2-story Spanish house, also known as the Casa Gelia Azurin, sits on a 504 square meter lot formerly owned by prominent Antiqueños from the Gelia Azurin family. In World War II, the Balay na Bato was used as barracks by Japanese soldiers and a prison for captured locals. Cadiao said the Department of Tourism, through the Antique Provincial Tourism Office, will take charge of the implementation of the project with a 5 million peso fund from the National Historical Institute. The project was made possible through Senator Loren Legarda, who sourced out for the funding. Cadiao said the Antiqueña senator had long been pushing for the project because the Heritage House is just one of those in the province that had survived the test of time. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Maricol Zapata.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Let's take another look at today's top stories. President Duterte makes a historic visit to Jordan to boost bilateral relations with the Arab state. The National Food Authority assures the public that it will continue selling affordable rice. The province of Palawan reports a 239% increase in dengue cases this year. And the Department of Education vows to look into allegations of cheating in the Palarong Pambansa Special Games. Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter for more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos. Look for these hashtags on all of our social media platforms and websites. And that's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Pia Rosas Morato. Good day.